Everyone thinks a nurse is a nurse. One job, one paycheck, long shifts, sore feet, not much money. That is the biggest myth in the entire medical world. Because nurse is not a job. It is a ladder. A ladder that starts with someone emptying bedpans for $35,000 a year and climbs all the way to a nurse who puts you to sleep for surgery and earns over $200,000. Same word, same scrubs, mostly. A six-figure gap between the bottom and the top, and almost nobody outside the hospital knows the difference. The nurse checking your blood pressure and the nurse standing next to the surgeon are on completely different rungs. Today we break down every single level of a nurse. The real training, the real hours, and the real money at every step. From the assistant nobody thanks the specialist the hospital cannot run without. This is every level of a nurse. Let's clock in. The whole ladder runs on one simple rule. In nursing, you do not get paid for how hard you work. You get paid for how much you are trusted to do without a doctor. At the bottom, you can barely give a pill without someone signing off. At the top, you run the anesthesia for an entire operation on your own. Every rung up this ladder is really you being trusted with a bigger, scarier decision. And the pay follows the responsibility almost perfectly. So the game is not about working more shifts. It is about climbing to where the decisions and the money get bigger. And the beautiful part, this is one of the last careers where you can start at the very bottom with almost no schooling and climb one certification at a time all the way to the top. Let's start at the very bottom. Level 1, the Certified Nursing Assistant, the CNA. This is the front door, and it is a door almost anyone can walk through. The training is short, sometimes just a few weeks, and it is cheap. In a matter of weeks, you can be working in a hospital or a care home. But make no mistake, this is the hardest, most physical job on the whole ladder. You are the one lifting patients, changing them, feeding them, cleaning them, and answering every call light. You do the work that keeps people alive and comfortable, and you get almost none of the credit. And the pay reflects that bottom rung. A nursing assistant earns somewhere around $30,000 to $35,000 a year. It is exhausting, it is humbling, and a lot of people burn out fast. But here is why smart people start here anyway. You are getting paid to stand inside the hospital and see the entire ladder above you. You see what the nurses do, what they earn, and exactly what you have to learn to climb. Most people who go to the top started right here, wiping down beds, quietly taking notes. The assistant job is not the destination. It is the cheapest ticket into the building. Level 2, the Licensed Practical Nurse, the LPN. This is your first real step into being an actual nurse. It takes about 1 year of training, far shorter than a full nursing degree. And that 1 year completely changes what you are allowed to touch. Now you can give medications, change dressings, monitor patients, and actually do hands-on nursing care. You are no longer just supporting the nurse, you are doing nursing. And the paycheck jumps to match. An LPN typically earns around $50,000 a year. For 1 year of school, going from $35,000 to $50,000 is a huge return. LPNs are the backbone of a lot of care homes and clinics, doing the daily grind of keeping people healthy. But there is a ceiling here, and every LPN feels it. There are things you still cannot do. Certain medications, certain assessments, certain decisions are off limits. For those, the hospital needs the next level up. The nurse everyone actually pictures when they hear the word. And that is where the money starts getting serious. Level 3, the Registered Nurse, the RN. This is the heart of the whole profession. When you imagine a nurse, this is who you are seeing. Becoming an RN takes real school, usually a 2-year or 4-year nursing degree, and a big licensing exam. It is a serious jump in effort, and it filters a lot of people out. But on the other side, everything opens up. An RN can run a patient's whole care, manage emergencies, push powerful medications, and make real clinical calls. You are the one the doctor actually relies on to catch the problem before it becomes a disaster. And the pay finally becomes a real, comfortable living. A registered nurse typically earns around $75,000 to $90,000 a year. In a busy city or a tough specialty like intensive care, that can push past $100,000. And here is the secret weapon of the RN. This is where specializing begins. An RN in a regular ward earns one number, but move into the emergency room, the ICU, or the operating room, and the pay climbs. Because the harder the unit and the sicker the patients, the more that skill is worth. A lot of nurses happily stop right here. Great money, always in demand, a skill that can never be shipped overseas. But there are 2 moves above this that turn a good nursing salary into a genuinely rich one. Before we climb higher, let's talk about the fastest way to boost a nurse's pay without any extra school. Travel nursing. Here is the trick. Hospitals all over the country have desperate shortages of nurses, so they will pay a massive premium to any nurse willing to pack a bag and show up for a few months. A travel nurse is just an RN who goes where the shortage is worst for short contracts in exchange for way more money. An experienced travel nurse can earn well over $100,000 a year, sometimes far more, plus housing. Same license as a regular RN. Same skills, a completely different paycheck, just for being willing to move. It is the clearest proof of the rule that runs through this whole channel. The rarer and the more flexible you are, the more they will pay you. But even travel nursing has a ceiling. To break past it, you need to go back to school one more time. Level 4, the nurse practitioner, the MP. This is where a nurse starts doing the work people assume only doctors can do. To get here, an RN goes back for a master's degree, years of extra study on top of everything already earned. And that degree unlocks something huge. A nurse practitioner can diagnose illnesses, order tests, and in many places, write prescriptions and run their own patients almost like a doctor. In a lot of clinics, the nurse practitioner is the person you see instead of a doctor. That authority is worth serious money. A nurse practitioner commonly earns around $110,000 to $130,000 a year. Think about the climb, from a $35,000 assistant to a $130,000 provider on the same ladder. And nurse practitioners are exploding in demand because they can do so much of what doctors do for less. This is a fantastic place to land, but it is still not the top. Because there is one nursing specialty that quietly out-earns almost every other nurse in the building, and even a lot of doctors. Level 5, the Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, the CRNA, the top of the ladder. This is the nurse who puts you to sleep for surgery and keeps you alive while you are under. It is one of the most high-stakes jobs in the entire hospital. When you are on that operating table, unconscious, this is the person keeping your heart beating and your body breathing. Getting here is brutal. You need to be an experienced ICU nurse first, then survive years of one of the hardest programs in all of nursing. Almost nobody makes it this far, but the ones who do get paid like it. A nurse anesthetist commonly earns over $200,000 a year, and top ones push well past that. That is more than many family doctors make from a career that started in scrubs at the very bottom. This is the ceiling. Maximum trust, maximum stakes, maximum pay. The same person who might have started emptying bedpans for $35,000 is now earning over $200,000 standing shoulder to shoulder with surgeons. That is the entire ladder from the bottom rung to the top. So here's the real lesson underneath all the scrubs and shifts. Nursing is the perfect example of a career built like a staircase where every single step is worth climbing. You do not need to gamble everything on one giant degree up front. You start cheap at the bottom, getting paid while you learn. Then you climb one certification at a time, and each one you finish literally raises your price. Assistant, then LPN, then RN, then specialist, then provider. Every rung, more trust, more money. And the whole time you are inside the building, seeing exactly what the next rung requires. Most careers hide the ladder from you. Nursing paints every step right on the wall. The nurse earning $200,000 did not get lucky. She just refused to stop climbing when the money got comfortable. So what can you take from this, even if you faint at the sight of blood? 1. The best careers let you get paid while you climb, one cheap step at a time. Look for that staircase in anything you do. 2. Specializing is a raise. The narrower and the scarier the skill, the more they pay for it. 3. The ceiling is almost always higher than the entry job makes it look. Never judge a career by its bottom rung. Start cheap, specialize, and keep climbing after it gets comfortable. That is the whole game. If you want to see every level of another job and exactly what it really pays, subscribe. We break down every level of every career and every dollar, drawn simply. Now go find your ladder. I will see you in the next one.